This is what happens when you're too powerful, because the little people, there's nothing we can do about it. Chase refusing to reimburse an elderly man's stolen $142,000. Wow. Not much to the billionaires who head up Chase, but that's a lot of money. Previously covered the story of a woman who lost her life savings after money was taken from a Chase bank account. Chase refused to reimburse that woman. Now they're at it again. Chase refusing to reimburse elderly man's $142,000 he lost to scammers, claiming he verbally confirmed the transfer but must get subpoenas to access the recording. You don't want to work with him, Chase. You have the recording. You don't want to work with him. Here's what happened. New Jersey man who lost the entirety of his life savings to a phone scammer said Chase Bank refused to reimburse him. Did nothing to help him resolve the matter after he filed a fraud claim. Kosmo Alexandrou reported that he lost $142,500 to a scam that all started with a pop-up message on his computer in May 2023. According to NJ.com, pop-up told him his computer had been compromised and directed him to dial a Microsoft customer support number and a black star with the details. He called, thought the person on the other line was a Microsoft representative helping him secure his personal information. That individual convinced Alexandrou that his laptop and banking information had been compromised and instructed him to download software that would protect his computer. You see where this is going. Safely transfer funds from his bank account to a cryptocurrency account he would create on the 76-year-old's behalf. Who are these dirty people? No conscience. Mr. Alexandrou stated he did not give the agent his Chase account number or login, but stated they already had all the information and completed the transaction on his behalf. Alexandrou's police report stated after realizing he was a victim of fraud, Alexandrou reported the incident to Chase. The bank promised an investigation, but later denied his claim. Nah. He tried calling the bank to ask why his claim was denied, but never received clarification. So he appealed the decision, citing the Electronic Funds Transfer Act, which covers consumer protections during electronic fund transfers, including specific instances of fraud. Finally, Chase clarified the claim denial. Sounds like making it up as we go along, but let's see. They stated that Alexandrou greenlit the wire transfer to the cryptocurrency account himself. Alexandrou maintained that he never received a call from Chase or spoke to a banking agent about the claim. He even asked for a copy of the recording, but Chase said, no, we can't review the audio recording due to the retention period. Wow. I have never had such a conversation with any Chase representative, nor did I authorize the transfer in any way, he said. And how ludicrous is it that a 76-year-old would transfer my life savings to a cryptocurrency account? Chase told Alexandrou that if he wants immediate access to the recording, he'd have to file a subpoena. So now, not only are they giving him his money back while they investigate, they're telling him that, well, you're now our opposing party. We're going to just focus on that. We're not your bank. We're actually against you. Chase issued a statement, quote, "We are sorry," that's the first lie, "that Mr. Alexandrou was a victim of this scam." Chase said, "We urge all consumers to ignore phone, text, or internet requests for money or access to their computer or bank accounts. Legitimate companies won't make these requests, but scammers will." Thanks, Captain Obvious. Thank you for the statement, Chase. Brilliant. This isn't the first incident by Chase either. We previously reported on a Chase Bank customer in Chicago who lost her life savings after a fraud incident drained her account. Because she didn't report it within the required time frame, the bank refused to reimburse her, leaving her penniless. This is Chase Bank. Yo, Jamie Dimon. How much does he make every year? They'll tell me. Courtney White, former sergeant with the Markham Police Department, now living in Chicago's Calumet Heights neighborhood, said a decade's worth of savings worth $87,000 vanished in an instant. I want to know, Adrienne, Chase is just the biggest bank bully on the block. That's my opinion. What are the obligations here? What are the consumer protections? What Does the bank have any responsibility to us, or is it all in that little stupid fine print that nobody reads? I just don't understand how they're allowed. I do understand how they keep getting away with it, but how they're allowed to just put everything on the consumer.
It's it is incredibly unfortunate because that fine print is fine print, that pretty much none of us read. This is one of those situations where the bank needs to, operate with more of a humanistic lens, and the
Mhm.
thing is that these banks are often put in these positions, and so individuals who find themselves in this situation as someone who has represented these banks and dealt with these very sensitive situations, is it needs to be escalated where the person does get legal involved in some way, because the thing is that banks get scammed too, where people will pretend that this is what happened to them. And so the banks are in the position where they need to know verifiably that you actually did suffer this loss, and so you do have to take those steps, because unfortunately this world has it's just trash in terms of how people conduct themselves, and I hate that this happened to this man. And I really, really hope that he's able to get through all of this red tape so he can get his money back.
Yeah. I guess I just would like to think that if they wanted to, they could put in some checks and balances here to prevent this kind of thing. 76 years old, cryptocurrency transfer, and nobody. I mean, do you know how many times my bank, this Chase, has cut me off from my own money after what? And I'll say, what did you do that for? I have to call some number. And so it's a mistake. Oh, we didn't have this paper. Yeah, you did. Well, we'll put it back up. And, I guess I shouldn't mind because maybe they're being extra diligent, but I just want to believe, Adrienne, that if they truly were interested in protecting these seniors or, the high ranking policewoman in Chicago, that they could do it. They could figure it out. Am I being naive?
No, I don't think you're necessarily being naive at all. As much as our system is so configured such that you have these cryptocurrency running, back deal, dark web, people operating in spaces where they can access people's funds or they can find ways to corrupt the system or to get money from people through illicit means. There's also ways in which these banks can provide greater senses of protection because we're also seeing what these banks are allowing AI voice recognition. So what happens if somebody gets a copy of your voice and uses AI to
Mm,
recreate your voice and then plays it, to the phone banking system? Like, it's just a matter of the fact is that these banks are the ones with the resources. So they should
mhm.
be putting up a greater effort to protect our resources because we're just the little guys. And
Yeah,
I really would expect that the banks could do more, especially realizing the threat that we're all facing.
yeah. It just feels like they don't care. And then you're gonna put out this little stupid statement. Who wrote that? Scammers are out there. Beware. Back to you. It's just mean. These are the same banks that took taxpayer money after doing wrong too. Okay, and letting the banking system and the housing market collapse and all of their illegal, perhaps, but dirty deeds. And maybe some of it wasn't legal. These are the same banks, and I just think that these folks in Congress do your job, and that's not licking somebody else's boots who's your dear leader.